Good morning and welcome to this Pender County Board of Education Committee of the Whole. At this time, it has been determined that we do have a quorum, and so this meeting is now called to order. At this time, we're having a bit of a technical issue, so we are going to go to a 5-minute recess. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody, for your patience with that recess. We now have our technical issue resolved. At this time, we are going down to agenda item number 2, adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
Mr. Hall. Thank you very much. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And thank you, and Mr. Spivey is on the phone today. Thank you very much. We now have the agenda approved. Number 3, financial planning. 3.1, a generous gift.
Technology is good when it works, right?
I think we've all found that out this morning, yes.
Good morning, you all. The first item that we have is a generous donation for Malpas Corner. It is in your packet. Hold on a second, it's loading. So the donation was for the media center. In the amount of $9,149.38 received by Ms. Virginia Teachy. And that was earmarked for library books. So we just need to report that to you all and thank the person who donated. Any questions?
If I'm not mistaken, Ms. Teachy was a former principal out at Malpas Corner, and indeed, that is a very generous gift.
She was 1993 to 1997.
Wow. Well, very sweet of them to think about the school. So our thanks goes to the Teachies.
Yep.
Okay, 3.2, PCS budget report with summary by PRC.
Okay, so if you will look at your reports that are included in the Board Pro, I just have a few notes. So remember, we still do not currently have a state budget, probably not going to get one this year. So there are a few areas that are showing in the negative, but that's basically waiting on allotments. 029 comes in late every year. And 068 is sister to 069, so that will run negative because it comes out of the 069 budget. Then you have 083 and 087, and those are, again, those are waiting on but partial. So some funding, things that they have done this year because we don't have a budget, is they've started out with giving a third, a third, a third. So that's just the first third, and we don't want to hold them back from buying what they need. So I'm allowing that because I have it in writing. The rest of the allotment will come in. Any questions on the state budget as it is? Local, there was a negative. That's EC, and it's pending just a budget amendment. It's only $10.46. Fund 3 is a little bit different. It looks like all red, but that's only because, remember, we did not pass a federal budget yet. We're waiting on those, and I think that I saw some approvals come in today in our system, which will update tomorrow. So our next board meeting, if we have federal budgets come in, then I will be presenting to you the federal budget for approval. Fund 4, so you have like a $206,000 negative. Just know that we're waiting on money coming back from the county for school expense. Some of the new school expenses, we're finding that we get a better deal, and you'll see something else is presented in the Cal today, if we purchase it. So we have some of those things, and we have a handshake agreement with the county that we will purchase it through capital and then get reimbursed. We've never had any problems with them reimbursing. We do a great job with that. Fund 8 is grant funding. So you all know a lot of grants require you to spend the money first and then get reimbursed, and that's what these negatives are. We're just waiting for reimbursement. Overall, you can see like the whole budget is at 22% expended, which is a good place to be right now. We are going to continue to monitor that with the lack of some of the state funding. Local will take a bigger lift this year, picking up some of the salaries and some of the things that we need to do. So just be aware, you will see local starting to look a little bit more expended than normal. I mean, like we're at 28% now, which is a little bit higher than we typically would be. But again, as the auditor explained, as I've explained, we have some fund balance we have strategically placed and planned on using for this year, since we didn't get the ask that we asked for with the county, and we still felt like there was a need to provide some assistance into the local budget. Any questions or concern about budget?
Just a comment. It still holds true that whenever the state does not pass a budget, they automatically revert to the previous year's budget, and that's what our guidance is.
That's correct. So they are working on a continuing budget resolution, right, Mr. Attorney? And when they're operating on a continuing budget resolution, their hands are tied for things that they can add money to. Usually throughout the year, we would be getting increases for benefits. We'd be getting increases for calculation for additional revenue coming in, and those things can't happen until they have either a small mini budget or a total budget being passed. So we are what they call at a floor allotment, which is the worst that it could possibly be, so that they don't have to run the risk of taking anything back. So we're dealing with that accordingly. So
Yes, ma'am.
it's happened before this way, not quite as bad with the federal looming cuts that they continue to talk about. So we're just really being kind of proactive and really watching every dime and dollar spent. Not that I don't do that already, but we're just trying to forecast. We're looking at everything to make sure that next year doesn't hit really hard. And we want to make sure that we don't hit our classrooms with any losses or any revenue shortfalls, right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate you and your staff,
well, thank you
This is
very
hard work.
much.
especially with all the unknowns, and I'm sure it's uneasy.
It
in your
is,
shoes.
and it's, I lose some sleep. My husband says I'm a little special because I sleep with a little pad beside my bed, and I think of stuff as I wake up in the middle of the night and
Totally
think,
normal.
oh, well, we can try to do that. And he's like, really? You can't just sleep? And then the other thing is, it's hard to explain, right? Because people, when we're trying to be super transparent about what we're doing and how we're doing it, the state ties our hands with what can be done in what budget. And then we have to get creative and move stuff around, and then people think. So, that's why I'm trying to make sure you guys have the full picture by PRC so we can talk through some of that. So that you all can feel comfortable, and your constituents can feel comfortable that we're using taxpayer dollars appropriately.
Thanks again.
Indeed. Okay, 3.3, fuel and electric expenses.
Okay, so any questions on fuel and electric? We are still working with the vendor to try to get the kilowatts per hours. Until we are comfortable with those numbers being truly accurate, I don't want to represent them and give you that overall review of how we did last year without synergistics compared to how we were with them. So we just have a few more tweaks and things to work out with them, and hopefully in the next 2 months we'll have something that's kind of a more analytical picture of electric between those two.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns?
Okay, 3.4, attorney expenses.
I talked to the attorney the other day, and he said this month was going to be free. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's a joke. If you know attorneys, that is really a joke. We do not have attorney expenses for September, but I'm sure he will be talking to you about some of the reasons why. We have some ongoing things that we're waiting on closeout and clarification, and then we will have a bill for September. So September is not a free month, even though I was kind of excited when I saw it. So just so you know, that's for your information, and Mr. Attorney can speak to you further, probably in closed, about the other things that are pending. And that's it for me.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
I think
Okay.
we are fine. Thank you
Okay.
very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, number 4, policy, strategic planning. 4.1, consider first read policy 3225-4312-7320.
It's a lot of numbers, isn't it?
It is.
Good morning, everyone. Real briefly, these are first read policies. If you remember back when the board adopted the cell phone policy, I reminded the board there would be additional policies that dealt with the education, AI, things of that nature. These are those policies. So if you read through the very first policy, basically it applies to all users. It's the technology responsible use. It does provide for bring your own device and expectations for that to be on our network. Every change that's made is in red. The additions, the deletions from the policy. It does fit in with what the session law provides us to do. Any particular questions on this individual policy. The first 4 policies deal with the cell phone bill, or the cell phone session law. The cell phone session law, that we had a policy, actually several policies earlier that you guys adopted.
Restricting cell phone usage.
Yes. The second policy that's on there is 4310. This particular policy deals with integrity and civility. Yeah. This applies to all students as well. There's an integrity, civility policy for staff, school board members, everybody has one. This one pertains specifically to students. It lists out the prohibited behaviors, including cheating, plagiarism, copyright violations, things of that nature that AI can produce if we're not careful. It also lays out the consequences for those violations in Section C. And I think it's pretty much self-explanatory beyond there. The actual disciplinary actions or consequences for these things are already within our discipline matrix for the schools to follow. This just brings the policy up to speed with what those say. So we were putting it into practice based on the session law. Now we're bringing the policy into view that matches that. Next policy is 3220, Technology and Education Program. There it is. This one essentially is kind of the mother policy of all these other policies that we're talking about. Everything comes from this policy, is cross-referenced in the other policies that we've talked about already. There's really nothing in there that's over the top crazy. It talks about the different types of technology, which we've made that mirror, thanks to Craig, the other policies that we have. And Craig, Mr. Lawson, you can jump in anytime you want to, if you want to explain anything
I can.
further.
You did a great job.
But I think he and I have read these things so many times that they start to jumble together, I guess, in our mind. This one also brings into play the Bring Your Own Technology program as well. So we're trying to make sure we touch all the bases, and also generative AI, or artificial intelligence. If you haven't had the pleasure of watching or participating in Mr. Lawson's AI demonstration, encourage you to do so. Really cool. The next policy is 3221. And this is a new policy, correct, Mr. Lawson?
Yes, sir.
This one is specific to generative AI. This is a policy that has been pulled in from several different policies, iterations from conferences and iterations from School Board Association and other districts too. I think Mr. Lawson and his team are kind of leading the way with this initiative. So very proud of the fact that we're jumping out there and getting ahead of the game. There's no red lines on this one, obviously. I would encourage you to read through this one, and I would encourage for approval of this for the next board meeting that Mr. McPherson review prior to that approval, because it is a new policy. Any questions on the first 4? Okay. And then the final policy. This is third-party and private therapy providers. It provides guidelines for our third-party vendors and third-party participants specific to therapy providers within our district. It also speaks to our contracted therapists that we have on site. We also have therapists that are employed by us. And we also have outside agencies that coordinate with IEP teams and other teams to help make decisions that are in the best interest of children. This is, again, first read on this one. And this is a new policy, so I would encourage and ask Mr. McPherson to review this one as well before it gets approved.
You knew I was going to go there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if, say, let's use ABA, which is a pretty common therapy that most parents are getting for our students who have autism.
Yes, ma'am.
Say if you have a registered behavior tech on, say if a parent is getting outside ABA services, and you have an RBT, a registered behavior tech, would that RBT, with this policy, would we stop the RBT from coming into a classroom, say if the student were having some behavioral issues that maybe the rest of our staff might not have figured out or something? If there was an IEP meeting, and I know I'm throwing a lot at this, but if there was an IEP and the IEP team decided that they would welcome in the RBT from that private RBT to come in and basically give a second opinion on a situation, would this policy prevent that from happening? Or would the IEP team still have the capability of saying, we welcome in your privately funded RBT to come in and,
I think there's
review
a-
the situation?
The way the policy is drafted, it would not allow them to come into the classroom specifically to provide services to the student. It does allow an outside RBT to come in and be a part of the IEP team, provide input, things of that nature. It does not currently allow for RBT technicians to come into the classroom to observe without IEP determination.
And what was that last part again?
So I would point your attention to the second page. Under the exceptions, third-party providers may enter the school setting only under the following circumstances. Number one, to observe for goal-setting purposes as above with principal approval,
Okay,
to attend meetings, and to share outside program participation results, to act as an advocate for the student, and in extraordinary cases, to work directly with the student with written approval by both the principal and the exceptional children's department. So there's a possibility that you are allowed to work with the student. The problem becomes that you got to make sure you get the principal's approval and the EC department's approval, is what it reads to me.
So there is a loophole. I
There-
mean,
there's-
we are giving a path that if a student needs additional help, and sometimes, from what I've seen, these RBTs, especially that the parents pay for, have been working with these kids for a very long time, and even before they begin with school, depending on when a child might have been diagnosed. And I was just thinking, if we are having, let's just be honest, behavioral issues with a student that we can't quite get a handle on, I would suggest that, and I see that we have made a way to bring them in, but I was going to very strongly suggest that we create an avenue in which we could bring in additional support who might know the child a little bit better. But
and I'll
I see
bring
that
this-
you've made that, so thank you
Yeah.
very much.
And we will, this is why we have two reads
Yes, sir.
for these policies. So I will bring this back to our EC director and talk through that with her
Okay.
to make sure everything's where it needs to be. And then any changes made between now and the actual board meeting will be redlined so you can see them.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And that is it for my section. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. Okay, number 5, Student Services, 5.1, Month of Awareness Celebration.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board. This morning, Student Support Services has 3 items to bring to your attention. The first being the month of awareness. Each year for the last several years, Pender County has recognized the month of October for the month of awareness in 4 critical areas that affect our society and specifically our children. The first week being mental health awareness, second week being special needs awareness, the third week being bullying prevention, and the fourth week being what we have always called Red Women Week for drug and alcohol awareness. At this time, if Ms. Radaball will please come forward and assist with answering any questions that you might have or to provide additional insight. But the calendars are in the board packet for your review, and we would begin this on Monday, October 6th. Would you like to say anything?
I'll just say, this has been around since 2021. It survived 2 superintendents, 3 EC directors, and 2 directors of student services. So it's an enduring tradition that everybody participates in, and it's just a month of unity for all of our schools, something we all have in common besides education and academics. We've got a little extra things planned for Bullying Awareness Week this year. Some things to bring us together a little bit more, some kindness activities and things like that. And I'm happy to report we have 0 incidents of bullying in Infinite Campus thus far this year. So that's a testament to the investigative work that our principals do and the awareness that they're bringing around that. And to the new policy that y'all enacted that put really some more teeth into that, that punishment consequence.
Any questions? All right. Thank you so much.
No
Ms. Radaball.
questions.
Did you have a question, Ms. Hanson? Sorry. Yeah, okay.
No.
Oh, so in the past, each board member has taken a week and made a video that we posted on social media. If y'all are interested in doing that this year, we're taking volunteers.
Well, I think what we've done in the past is each board member has actually recorded
Yes.
a message, and we've sent it out on all call. If any board members are interested in that, let us know. And,
Have to decide now, go home and sleep on it.
and they'll help you
I'll
write
send you an
something
email.
up.
I'll send you a reminder. I know how to find you. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate the effort you guys put into this.
The second item is a policy update recommendation. Actually, I guess if it's general statute, it's not a mere recommendation. It's one of those things that we kind of have to do. But thankfully, Mr. McPherson, please correct me if I'm wrong. But thankfully, the amount of red information and black-lined information you'll have to review is very limited for this policy. General Statute 115C-375 2A, I think, is where the correction was made, and it's on page 4 in our policy under Section D. There was a general statute that allowed for auto-injectors, but because of the expanse in our medical fields, there are multiple methods for delivery of medication now. So they have simply redlined or blacklined auto-injector, and in its place, input delivery system. So there are multiple ways that students can receive medication. So the recommendation for that would be to add that to the consent agenda for the second read and consent agenda for approval at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Are there any questions about that vernacular or change in vocabulary that you might have questions about?
Just-
Did I say that correctly,
You
Mr.
you said all
McPherson?
that absolutely correct. The big deal is being able to use nasal sprays,
Right, that's,
because they weren't previously approved, is nasal sprays for epi and other auto injectors. So that's the big deal.
right. Thank you very much. And the last item that I have for you today is information regarding a growth planning study that was conducted by ITRI at NC State. Mr. Thomas Dudley is finishing that study. We'll have a draft for our review in the coming days. He has obtained information from our transportation department as well as our student information team to make sure that the first 20-day numbers and transportation numbers are correct before proposing the 10-year growth planning study. And again, this information will be updated from last year's. We will take a close look at how the two different persons' studies have aligned, and then hopefully it will allow us to plan for future facility needs across our district. And that will be on the information agenda at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Any questions? All right.
No.
That is my last item. Thank you,
Okay,
and have
thank
a
you,
great day.
sir. You too. Number 6 is instructional services, but I don't see anything on there. Number 7, operations, 7.1, J.H. Lee, sports lighting. Dr. Grimm.
Yes, good morning, everyone. How are you today? Doing well, yeah. So our first item up is dealing with the sports lighting for the J.H. Lee School. So the board approved the sports lighting, and it's recommended to proceed using capital funds with reimbursement with bond funds, and that would go to consent agenda. Any questions on that? Okay.
I have a question, though. I mean, I guess it is, not related to that, but is there any way we could find out do all of our middle schools have lighting? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's a good question. All right. So let's move on to our next item. Okay.
I think that'll be the only one that does have lighting.
But if I'm not mistaken, it is on our CIP plan, is it not?
We discussed making sure that we have a plan to include lighting on other middle school fields, starting with J.H. Lee, and then working over the next several years to try and build out that lighting on those fields so that we have sort of equity across our county when it comes to athletic field lighting.
Okay, that was my question, because I know some don't have it, and I didn't know what we were trying to, if we're gonna start providing it, then we need to start
ma'am.
figuring out how to make it right. So we'll work over that on the next couple of years, is what we're saying.
Part of our capital improvement plan,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one, I know you're familiar with seeing this, is for the J.H. Lee. This is just a placeholder at this time because we do not receive those documents until after the Cal meeting. So they will show up on the regular board meeting for paying the J.H. Lee to Bordeaux. And then there's a next page with this, Craig. And then also, and then also the change orders as well will be on the board meeting. And nice thing about our next board meeting, our new project manager will be here and will be in attendance. Bordeaux will do the presentation, introduce the project manager. He'll have some comments to make, and then the project manager informed me that he will be then doing the presentations to the board meetings. So want to make you aware of that.
Very good.
All right. And Mr. Nelson, I met with him right after you folks approved that at the last board meeting. So we're excited to work with him. And he's helped us through a few questions already.
Good. I'm glad to see that it's working out. As I've said before, I think the board was, we know that you're new, Dr. Graham, and you're still trying to, get out and learn everything that you need to with operations. And this board thought that it was a little too much to saddle you with also project management for the K-8. So I'm glad to see that the support is there. It's going to allow you to do your job even better. And it's going to allow us to have boots on the ground out at the K-8. So I think it was a wise decision all the way around. But thank you. I appreciate that. Boards, are there any questions? Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you,
Next.
sir.
All right. Okay, let's talk about incentivizing bus drivers. Anyways, yeah, there we
Well,
go.
and before you begin, I just wanted to say one small thing. Typically, we do not have action items here in the Committee of the Whole. But today, we've decided to add number 8, bus driver incentive proposals, because we realize that with bus drivers getting sick, and we've, we have a significant need, especially over on the east side, for more bus drivers. So the decision was made today to add this as an action item so we can try to get ahead of this as much as we can. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Graham, but I'll hand it off to you right now, and thank you.
Sounds good. So we work together as a team here at Pender County Schools. So what you see in front of you is cabinet members, Mr. Overton working on this proposal. And as you can see from the top, this fits in very well with our strategic plan. And I'll point out number 1, increase the sustainability of a career as a PCS bus driver by exploring new ways to structure pay, hours, and responsibilities. And y'all did a great job with that strategic plan. I think it's going to serve us well. I know I've referred to it several times as a new chief operating officer. And then we get into our challenges. You've touched on some of those challenges already. We do want to recruit new drivers and incentivize our current drivers to stay with us and make it a career as a bus driver here at PCS. But we know families are experiencing challenges. Mr. Overton and his team continue to look for more efficient ways to combine some routes, make the route shorter. That's an everyday conversation in his office. But as you alluded to, we have sick bus drivers and people that, they quit. And so we do have some, we're 6 to 8 bus drivers short right now to cover those morning and afternoon routes. Most of this is occurring on the east side, and you run into traffic as well down on Highway 17. So nationally, I think it's important to know that there is a shortage of bus drivers. My wife is from the Sioux Falls area. You drive around Sioux Falls and there's signs up everywhere. The school district is looking for bus drivers. I was in New York in my former job about 6 months ago, and they had signs up as well looking for bus drivers. So this is something the nation is struggling with. So we've got a proposal here for some incentives, and I want to go through with you so you understand these. Tom, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm getting situated here.
Okay, all right. So number 1 is daily attendance incentives. And what we want to do is propose that for those regular bus drivers that are coming in every day, for every run that they do, they get an extra $5 incentive to drive that yellow school bus. For both AM and PM runs, they could earn up to $10 a day, would be an example. So if they do a morning run, afternoon run, besides their regular pay, they're going to get an extra $5 for each of those runs.
Capped at $10, is that what you said?
Yes, and if they did a third run, they could get $15.
Okay, I misunderstood. All right.
All right, that's just an example. We have normally about 321 daily runs a day, so times 168 days a school year. Now, for the certified instructional staff, instead of giving them that extra $5 for each run, what we've done is we've just increased their pay up $5 to $27.80 per hour. We appreciate their willingness to.
Can you say that again?
We've increased their pay for driving the bus to $27.80 per hour. They were getting $23.80. Was it
2280.
2280, I'm sorry, 2280 per hour. Now they're getting 2780 per hour,
But it's not just while they're driving the bus.
just for the additional run for that bus,
Yeah,
yep.
but what if, I mean, but the route may take more than an hour.
Then,
Is it
what,
$5 more an hour or $5 period?
It's $5 more an hour.
Hour,
We increased
okay.
the hourly rate of pay for certified drivers. So they get $5 more an hour.
If they, okay,
So if they run an hour and a half, it's at a rate of $27 and what,
2780.
well, so this is probably, I don't know if this is a good place to insert this, but what about, we have people that drive buses and may work for Aramark, or they may work for HES, or they may work for somebody like that. I've hinted around about this, and I don't think anybody caught my hint, but, you've got people there too that may not drive because they're worried about being 15 minutes late to their next job or something like that. I mean, the way I see it, and I'll say it to both of them, if we've got a contractor like that that's not willing to help us over just a few minutes, they can probably prepare to have their contract ended.
Don, are you referring to Airmark?
I'm referring to
Okay.
Aramark and HES,
Okay, okay.
because both of them have got inside jobs, and that's part of the problem. Some people don't want to work 2 hours and then kill the whole day and then come back 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. So somebody needs to tackle that. I mean, if the contractors have a problem with it, I mean, they can leave. It's that simple. So,
Yes, sir. Yeah, and we have begun that conversation because of those hints that were made earlier, and we've started having, Dr. Grimm has already spoken to several of the leadership there, knowing that this is the direction that we would like to go, and trying to support our transportation department. And we think that down the road, we'll get more and more.
yeah, but we don't have time to wait down the road. We've got, I mean, we need
Yes,
to
sir.
act now.
Yes, sir.
And,
They are supporting us on that.
well, I mean, we need can somebody come up with, for the next meeting, how many people do we have that are trying to work for both places? And I don't know. So I can see, I mean, if we're only talking about 2 or 3 people, that's one thing, but the point is there could be more, is what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
More potential drivers.
Yeah. So Aramark and HES, you should both hear this. I think we pretty much just directed you to work with us. If you don't, we will end your contract. I can't make it any clearer. And I think they're aware of that. So, I mean, this is an emergency. And, if we don't have kids there for them to serve, then they don't need to be here either. So, I'm not picking on either one. Both of them have, done good, and I just want to make sure that it's not, okay, well, I'm a cafeteria manager at X, Y, or Z school. I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. You're 10 minutes late, you're fired, blah, 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 that kind of thing. There needs to be a clear-cut, district-wide policy. I mean, if we need to write it into their contract or amend the contract, so be it. If we need to have, I'd rather see something in writing, I put it that way.
Yeah, we appreciate the support from the board on that, because you're right, it is critical that we get bus drivers so that we get our students to and from
Now,
school.
am I wrong about, I'm just guessing, if they're 10 or 15 minutes late due to traffic on getting to work for their second job, and by second job, I mean working in the cafeteria or cleaning. I don't know how big, I mean, I have no way to know how big of a problem it either is or isn't. But I just know that we've got an emergency, and it either needs to be dealt with, or else we'll make all these people Pender County Schools employees, and then there will be no issue, one way or the other.
No, there needs to be a grace period in there for those individuals that are already working and might have traffic delay them 15 or 20 minutes or whatever that is, with the understanding that they'll jump right in to their second job at that point with no retribution on them.
I
totally
guarantee you the
agree.
bus driving job pays more per hour than the other job does. I'll put it that way.
Well,
Simple
especially
math.
now if they're making
Right.
second and third runs, I mean,
Now,
that,
what I don't mean, I don't want somebody, oh, well, I'm just gonna take a second run and the heck with this other job. We can't have that either. I mean, we've got to be flexible, but what I'm talking about is people who are not currently driving for us, who would otherwise. Because I know in the old days, if a school had a couple of bus drivers out, and this is in the days when they worked for Pender County Schools, the principal would simply walk to the cafeteria and say, I need 2 bus drivers. And it happened. But now when you've got different employers, we don't know what a contractor is telling their employees. They work for them. But they work in our place. So I hope y'all follow what I'm talking about. I want to be fair to all, but if it's a matter of somebody not doing it because they're worried about being 5 minutes or 10 minutes late to work for their cafeteria or cleaning job, contractors have to work with us, and I think they know that.
Can I add, what about it, like our instructional assistants? I mean, they're
Yeah,
probably,
them too.
I mean, the teachers go
We'll talk about
on.
them next, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our teachers go on teaching until they get there, right? I mean, they're not penalized
Correct.
because they work for us as well.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
No, just remember, if the kids aren't there, then they have no reason to be there either. So that's IAs, I forgot all about that.
One of the things that, and I'll jump in here, that we're doing on the IA situation is, for example, I talked to a principal last week, and they calculated up to 20 hours a week. Their current IAs are driving a bus when instruction is happening. So they get there an hour, they have 3 bus drivers, IAs, that are getting there anywhere between 30 and an hour or so after school starts, and then having to leave 45 minutes, 30 minutes earlier, an hour earlier. They calculated close to 20 hours, and what Ms. Nallen has helped us is identify ESS and Mr. Taylor as well, in going ahead and using some of the vacancies that we have in IAs to free up that funds to go ahead and allow that school to hire an additional staff member to help cover those classes while that IA is jumping out. So there's an incentive for the school and the IA not to feel as bad of leaving to go drive, because now they're being covered with additional staff members that they never had
See, that's the
before.
kind of,
I
what
like
does
that.
the average IA make an hour? Does anybody know, right, just roundabout?
We'll look it up.
Not much.
Yeah, it's,
I doubt it's $23.
But see, that's what I was gonna say. Now we're encouraging more IAs to do this job, and then it's gonna put more stress
Right.
on their teachers for not having the
That's
IAs
right.
in the classroom.
but then going in and backfilling those with additional, and then even though it's a part-time, we're
See-
giving them that full-time IA, so it's even above. So there's even an additional incentive to do that for the schools. That's what we're trying to
See,
do.
that's when I'm talking about mixing jobs, like I was just talking about, that's the fear of it,
Yes, sir.
so, but it's a whole lot different when you've got someone that's cleaning or working in the cafeteria or whatever. If they're 10 minutes late, that may not be quite as much of a time constraint. Because, I mean,
And they're not working for us, so.
right. But when you've got a class that starts at a certain time,
Yes, sir.
that's a different ballgame. So, I mean, we need to do something, but I don't want our incentives to be pulling away from other things either. So that's
Yeah, we're trying to find that right balance for that, so it's not pulling that person completely out of the classroom as an example, but it does incentivize the school and that individual to want to jump in and help out with driving, especially when we talk about benefits, retirement, and that sort of thing down the road, that there are those incentives. But we need also people in our classrooms that have gone vacant. Right now, we have close to 16 IAs, I believe, vacant across the district. That 16, because we just can't field them. People don't want to drive a bus.
what kind of educational requirements does an IA have? Anybody know?
They can either have an associate's degree, or they can have
I just wonder if we need to, like some of our current bus drivers that may want something to do during the daytime in the middle of it all, that might be another way to help work on that problem too. I mean, I don't know, the time has come to think outside of the box on this stuff because it's not getting any better. And it's just got to be dealt with one way or the other,
And likely to get worse when the growth comes to this side of the county in the next couple of years. Yep.
so but I think contractors especially, that may be a good starting place, and I didn't mean to sound so hard on them. I think they're probably more than willing to help us, but they've just got to, they need to, on their own people, say, all right, this is how it's gonna be,
There's got to
period.
be some flexibility.
Right.
And I think the other component there is maybe there are people that want to drive but not getting enough hours. We
Right.
incentivize them to work with Aramark or work with HES as well to
Well,
get
that's right,
them the
too.
full-time employment hours, which is the other side of it, right? So not only are we, the people that want to work for HES incentivized to come and drive, we also look at the other way around, those that want to drive, but understand that, hey, there might not be enough hours there to get them all the things the wages that they want for their family, and that to incentivize them to go ahead and sort of be the prioritized for hiring by HES and Aramark as well.
Well, I just, something could work together a little closer to help some of that, I think, but at the same time, you know, we have classrooms that start at a certain time, period. So that's got to top everything, but if you don't have the students there, there's no need to have the class, so buses need to get there too. I mean, that's.
On time.
True.
Get it. All right, sorry for my long interruption.
Oh, thank you. No, great suggestions. We're looking for all suggestions. So, last part is the instructional assistants. We touched on a little bit here. So they're going to be offered $5 an hour to take on additional bus runs outside their normal assignment. Plus, they would get the $5 incentive for just driving. That in number one. So we think that will really incentivize more IAs to want to drive. Of course, there's going to be a lot of coordination with the school administrators because they're going to be leaving a little bit early to head out and do some driving.
One more point that might go with that, since the school administrator reminded me. We talked about some maintenance positions at, like, local schools. That's another avenue that you might use with some drivers. We've already started that at Pender High, I think. Is that started or getting right? He hired someone that has just started, right?
Yes, sir, about 2 weeks ago.
Good. Just a thought, because, you know, that person works for the school and works for the principal. So if they have CDLs and
Couldn't hurt.
principal's like, I need some help on this bus route today, you know, that person's already there.
Yes, sir. Like that idea. Yes, sir. All right.
All right.
And then you can see the not to exceed projected cost of $600,000. And then the next page talks about the benefits of some of these incentives that we hope that will work. And we certainly can come back if these are not working and bring some other ideas to the table, such as been recommended today. So we recommend that the board take action today and approve these incentives.
I have a couple questions that I've written down. And you may have answered it, I think you have. What really is the heart of this issue? Is it we don't have enough drivers? We don't have enough buses? Is it back to we don't have enough drivers because like we've had in the past, our staff and our admin staff get poached by other counties? I mean, what do we feel like is really the heart of our issue here?
Sure, we do not have enough drivers at this point. We're 6 to 8 drivers short on a daily basis. There's people called out sick. We have some people that have some medical issues. People resign. I mean, being a bus driver is a challenging job. So we are short. And that's what we just need more bus drivers. And when those people that call, it's like a substitute teacher. It's nice to have a lot of substitute teachers in your school, so when you've got professional development, or you have a bunch of people that call out sick, you've got a bench to go to.
Sure.
And have additional drivers.
See, the subs are another pool that you can use. I mean,
The issue, and adding to that is that sub pool. And when you're constantly having to go to a teacher, coach who has a CDL and pull them from the classroom and to drive a bus, and that wears on individuals because they're doing it all the time. That should be rare, right? And unfortunately, it's a daily occasion. And so not having a full team and having to rely on those that have CDLs that aren't, that really should not be driving every day, that wears on the system. That wears on the system's culture and climate on top of that. So it is about bus drivers, filling those 6 to 8 or 8 buses that we have that don't have full-time drivers, and then building your bench for subs.
Do we have people currently in the works to get, I know we've talked about this before. Do we have people currently in the works, like waiting to get their
Mr.
test
Overton,
or
I'll
whatever
let you take-
with
take
DMV?
This one.
Oh, sorry.
We do, I don't have an actual official number of what we have from our last meeting, but, there's people in the works as far as to get the license part of it. And that's, once we get them in, hopefully we'll get them in driving a bus and all, but they're not an asset to us right now until we get them in. But, to blanket that question, there's always somebody in the pipeline, so we try to get them in as quickly as we can. But we do have people right now.
Impediment seems to be getting that time with DMV, is that correct?
It is, and it's not Pender County, it's everybody dealing with DMV, and it's, we don't frown on DMV for this, I think they're doing the best they can.
Sure.
So it's just, it's part of the procedure, to get them in, so, we're patient, communicate with DMV and work with them the best we can. But to your questions, it is definitely bus driver shortage. We have enough buses, we have more than enough buses than what we need, we just don't have the drivers in the seats. And then, as far as substitute bus drivers, that's exactly what they are, substitutes. If they wanted to be a permanent, full-time driver, they're more than welcome to, but a lot of them, some of them are retirees, they wanna do a couple days a week, and they wanna, so we call on the entire pool we have, and, those that don't have to work per se, that are substitutes, or they do it for fill-in or whatnot, like Dr. Breedlove said, they get burned out, and sooner or later, they need a break, and and then right now, we're currently dealing with, we're coming into fall, coming into winter, sickness, students get sick, bus drivers get sick, a handful of students off of a bus, it makes a little room on the bus, but one bus driver getting sick makes it a big deal. So we've got a couple of things in the works, from trying to do some sanitizing of buses and again, having staffing to do that, and having time and getting the equipment. So not really on the agenda, but just so y'all know, probably sanitizing the buses, going back to our COVID days, is gonna be helpful for us. So, that's kind of something y'all don't know about, that hopefully it'll help our drivers and our students.
now, the substitutes that I was talking about, that's a good idea too, because I forgot you have to have subs for buses too, but I'm talking about substitute teachers that work. When the class is over, they're done.
Yeah.
If they want to drive, walk to a bus and go.
So the issue with that becomes they are not our employee. So if they're not our employee, we can't allow them to drive our bus. They're not covered under
Well, that would
insurance.
cover Aramark and HES then. How can theirs do it?
We would have to employ them.
I
So
know.
they would have to be hired.
I know.
Just so you know that we would have to pick up that person on our payroll to.
Well, no,
do
we'd
that.
have to do that with any of them, so. We need to have a get-together with the ESS people, Aramark and HES, and probably y'all too. And we need a clear-cut plan to utilize these people.
Yes, sir.
Is that a working?
And
Work session. That I totally agree with
Yeah, I mean,
Mr.
it-
Hall. I think that it is probably past time to have
Needs
a
to happen
working
very, very
session
soon.
about transportation. And we, Dr. Breedlove, we will get together and get a date and a time for that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I did get the average TA, you were asked about the average TA rate is $20.85. $20.85 is the
So they make a
average.
little more money.
And the starting rate for a bus start is $17.75. That's the starting rate, and then it taps out at $22.80 on the back end. So these $5 incentives above that kind of gives you that, the new rate.
And wanted to ask about, you know, going through the DMV, which is, I'm experiencing that right now, just moving here, and it is very crowded, it's an all-day event. So if they have all of their paperwork done and they're ready to go, we will pay them to sit there at the DMV to get that license so they can drive.
I can tell you, I was coming back from the airport yesterday morning at 6 o'clock. There were people in the parking lot at the DMV right across the street. So it's no joke.
Well-
Any additional questions?
I have one comment that I'm sitting here just thinking, this is another example of the federal government just screwing it up for the states. Because they came out with this law, because we were in high school, we all drove buses. And we had plenty of bus drivers. I mean, this is just absurd that a 17 or 18-year-old kid can't drive a school bus if they're responsible like we were.
So an 18-year-old can drive a bus.
Well, he's not in school more than likely. We were in high school.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They have to have 6 months of driving experience so they can drive. I talked to NCDPI yesterday about this, and so that's something else we will be looking at.
Yep.
And I probably would have an 18-year-old driving like an elementary bus or.
Yeah, but he's not gonna be he's not gonna turn 18 until he's almost graduating.
That's correct.
Yes, I mean-
There may be 18-year-olds that have graduated that are interested in driving.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, in high school, we all drove buses.
Yeah.
I was driving a school bus when I was 17. Me, my brother, and my sister. All of our bus drivers at Laney High School were all high school kids, maybe except for 5.
I've heard those stories.
And we just had
Same.
no accidents, nothing was wrong. I mean, we all were responsible. It's just, we wouldn't even have this problem if that was still going on today. I mean, that's not helping us now, I'm just saying, just comment. And that's our federal government right there, just interfering in states' business. Each state should be able to do this on their own.
Figure out what works best for them.
What works best for you.
We used to have teachers that did it too, but I'm assuming the reason they can't is because they're required to be at the school
30 minutes before.
before and after. So is that a rule that we could waive to help with that? Because there are probably some teachers that would do it too.
And we have a couple right now that are driving at the end of the day.
Well, I mean,
I know when Mr. Reeves and I went on a tour, and I think you were there too, at no, I don't know if you were there.
No.
Anyway, at Trask, the home ec teacher, I was asking her, when does she find time to get all her supplies, her groceries and whatnot, to, you know, because they were cooking breakfast that morning. She said, well, I drive the bus in the morning, and I come to school, and then when I have my planning period, I go to Food Line and buy the groceries, and then I come back and finish teaching, and then I drive the bus, and then I can go home. So,
but so technically though, unless she gets the bus there 30 minutes early, she's technically breaking that rule, but I mean, if the principal's okay with it, then, and that's fine. I mean, I'm glad she is breaking it because we need a driver, but I mean,
right.
you know, in her case, she's taking care of matters, but I mean, I don't know if you encouraged your principals to do that, would that create havoc?
I don't think they've been discouraged to do that. It wouldn't create havoc, you know, they're technically working for us. So that particular teacher in my mind is there an hour and a half early or so. And so,
Yeah, but they need-
what's the coverage for that classroom if the teacher's late and that? They just have to have those abilities to do that. And we're really trying to avoid that, but I'm not discouraging that if that person wants to do that.
Well, I just don't want, I mean, the teacher's probably driving the bus to make extra money for one, and two, to help, but you don't want them to get penalized either financially by doing it. You know, depending on what they're making per hour as a teacher. I know it's salary, but same we don't really want them getting docked 30 minutes of a day because they showed up 10 minutes before the, 30-minute early bell or something
No, sir, that would not happen. We wouldn't allow that to happen.
everybody's got to have flexibility for this stuff now. It is time to think outside of the box and do something.
Yes, sir.
Well, and I'm gonna be honest, when I saw $5 per run, my first thought was, can't we do something a little bit better than that? But I have to tell you, if anyone out there heard the presentation by Ms. Nowlin earlier, our state does not have a budget. We are working basically, I dare say, on a shoestring budget right now. And I think when everything adds up at the end of the day, it's actually not a bad $5 per hour for IAs while they're making these extra runs. It's really not a bad situation. And, but I also need to say that we also have to look at taxpayer money and how we're responsible for that. And $5 an hour at this point is basically all we have to give. That's all we've got. So, with that said, are there any more questions on this?
You brought up the budget, so I don't know if it's for Ms. Nowlin or for Dr. Grimm. This is gonna cost us, we estimate approximately $600,000 if it all goes well, right? Where is that money coming from?
So it will come out of local. The incentive piece for the attendance is intended to be reoccurring. So that's what I would guess would be approximately about half, a little less than half. The other $5 an hour for teacher pay will stay. That'll be a portion, which again, we encourage teachers to do it when we have the need, because ultimately we want our teachers teaching, right? So we hope that does not have to, it will not create it won't be sustainable in our budget, because hopefully we'll be able to address the driver shortage over the long run. The incentive piece for the IAs to pick up additional routes, we think that's an emergency. That's a 911 thing to address just now. I think we will bring back a second phase of what we do to recruit and retain. And those will be some sustainable pieces too when we bring to you all. So again, to say it's coming out of local for the $600,000 we're estimating now. We are hoping with just that incentive piece that we will see correlation with people coming to work because they're making more money to come to work and having the less of the needs for the 911 covering positions. And it'll also give us time to get people in the pipeline, also discuss some of the things that you guys are talking about, talking to our contractors, getting these people on board, looking for people that may be able to fill in as maintenance for half of the day and then bus drive the other day in a school. So the sustainable piece is looking at that local 300 and some thousand of the 600,000. We've got that in local.
So the local, if money were to become an issue, for example, let's say that we had 10 jobs that are not filled. And we decided, okay, we're going to eliminate those jobs and use that budget money to pay for it. It would have to be locally funded jobs, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're on a shoestring budget with state right now, and state has very little flexibility with what you can pay bus drivers and how you can incentivize them. So,
Anything you do extra is your money, local money.
correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, well,
Yeah, there's some work to do.
I think we've got enough budgeted for that right now to handle it, but I mean, if push comes to shove, and we have to eliminate some things to do it, then it's got to be done. I mean, we are to that point with these drivers, so.
I want to add one thing, just do what Ms. Nolan said. So the $5 attendance incentive is something that we would like to ask for yearly, and that budget is not gonna get any higher, and it could potentially be lower depending on who it is, but it's, like right now, it's 321 runs a day, 168 days a year. If you calculate that number, it's not gonna go over that, unless for some reason we add more runs, of course. The additional IA incentive that we're putting forth now, this is a 25-26 put out the fire today. What we don't want to happen is next year, everybody say, you know what, I'm gonna do the bare minimum, and then the board will come back with some incentives,
Yeah.
then I'll go to work and make extra money. So we're gonna get creative next summer, and like I said, get people through the pipeline, if we can make some partnerships with our contractors and all, but this is just a right now, put the fire out for the extra part of it, because it can backfire on us in the future, if that makes sense. But the daily attendance, that's something that I think we would like to move towards every year, because it's, you know, it's just an extra to have you schedule doctor's appointments on teacher work days, or, you know, just to kind of be here and do your job and get our students to school. So that's the biggest part of it.
Okay.
What
Thank you,
about-
Mr. Everson.
So the rule about, you've got, if your school starts at 8 AM, then if you're a staff member, you're supposed to be there at what time? 7:30?
30 minutes before to 30 minutes after.
After, yep,
30 minutes before and after.
yes.
Is that a board policy? Does anybody know?
It's a operational standard across school systems.
What if we made a policy that said, this is how it is, unless you were driving a school bus? Or something of that nature. And then if we said, I mean, the board, you know, all the time, the board did this, the board did that, the board did this, and the board has never heard of it, you know, that's the reality of it. The board does it all. So what if we made a policy that just said, you will be at your job by 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after, unless you're driving a school bus. And there'd probably have to be something in there about, you know, the principal would have to agree or something like that, but.
And we could do that, but honestly, right now, I think the superintendent has the capability of doing that.
Well, if you can do it, then even easier.
We are, that's the rule.
Yeah, but you'd be better to have it from us in writing. That way, when you get an argumentative principal somewhere that doesn't want to listen to that, you can say, well, here you go. Because that can happen. I've seen it before, just saying. I don't know. I just think we should come up with a policy, and I think in our next board meeting, vote on it, yes or no, and be done with it.
We could do that.
I mean, the policy needs to be about 2 sentences long, just like I just said. So,
Okay, board, are there any other questions or comments?
Oh, my questions.
Are we good?
We appreciate the support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Would anyone like to entertain, and would anyone like to entertain a motion?
Oh, sorry.
oh, about the,
Yes,
I make a motion we approve it.
thank you, Mr. Hall. Do we have a second?
Second.
And we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, and the motion passes. Okay, at this time, we are going to have a closed session today, number 9, closed session. Does anyone have a motion for closed session?
I will make that motion if, Mr. McPherson, do you have the
I do.
wording for it?
Yes, sir. I move the board enter into closed session, subject to the advice from the attorney pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and A6 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel information under North Carolina General Statute 115C-319 to consider matters related to personnel matters. The board will also enter into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 A3 to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, to consider confidential student matters related to NC General Statute 143-318.11A1 and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, 20 USC 123G, and North Carolina General Statute 115C 402. The board will also enter into closed session to consider and to give instruction to the board's attorney concerning JG versus Pender County BOE and Burns Fisher versus Pender County BOE et al.
All right, I will make that motion as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are now in closed session. Thank you very much. We have come back from closed session. Do I have a motion to come out of closed session?
I will make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are now out of closed session. At this time, we have gone through all of our agenda items, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.